As teenagers, we are riddled with anxieties, emotions, and general insecurities, but they all stem from one thing: fear. We fear our past, our present, and our future as we let our thoughts run wild as we dwell within the fears of the world and ourselves. They make us uneasy, unfocused, and prevent us from doing things we label as dangerous. In today's special, we will explore these fears through two stories, from one person you may know well and another that you do not. Welcome to Fear, presented by Wong Division.
Full name is Luxamira Sanchez Rincon. Yeah, it's my mother's last name. Exactly December 2020, 2 years, a year and a half. It wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. I've been traveling around for my whole life, so I'm get used to the change. And I don't look at it like a shock. I look at it like a new adventure, something that I want to explore. Of course, when I was a child, it was like that little thing that is a new adventure, but it's also the fear that you never know when you're coming back. The thing is, I'm born in Venezuela and I always expected to get to know more about the place that I was born, but I never did it. I never came back to it. My main fear is like to be alone and feel like you're losing in your way, you're losing what you are, trying to fit. That's my fear. I just get to know how to explore different cultures, not what I am really. Well, when you're a child, you don't see, well, I didn't see the things in that way because I was really young. So it was like more like a new beginning. Like, I'm gonna get to know new people, new friends. I'm gonna be living with my older sister for first time in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna say that the first fear that I felt, it was never going to see my older sister again for in a really long time. And that's what really happening right now. That was my only doubt. And that's the thing that I lost when I came here. So it was more the fear that you never know when you're gonna see it again. Maybe this gonna sound cliche. I just sacrifice them to just come here. And I'm not gonna let that pass in vain. To be honest,
Life is good.
life is good. I'm being looked at and it's her maximum expression. I'm still exploring. I'm still in this adventure. And I'm just enjoying it. Enjoying the present. And stop living in the past. Creating a new life. And building something new and better.
You are watching Long Division. The episode continues. Long Division.
Luxamira's story is but one of many. Fear is universal, and it stretches to every person in the world. Today we will hear the story of someone who is haunted by the looming reality of having to outgrow adolescence, and face the reality of adulthood after having left everything he had known behind.
When I actually moved schools, when I actually moved away from my comfort spot, which was Los Angeles, right? There was an immense fear of, finding new people, finding friends, right? Because everything's new. Like, I have no friends at this point, right? I'm in a new place, I'm in a new school. It's in the middle of the grade, right? It's 10th grade. Everyone's established their little flings and circles. So I really had to, like, get myself out there in order to just have this sense of friendship. Because you know, in the first couple like months, right? I literally all I did during lunch was get my food and then go to the school library and study. And it was the most depressing period of my life. Like at one point, I had to just push myself to just get more friends. It was going great, and then you know the pandemic hit, and that's another thing. Cause like I've just only been in that school for 2 months. After that 1 year, all my connections have been lost. Right? Like I kind of don't know anyone anymore. So I had to like overcome a new fear and keep going. Right? Like keep finding new friends, and it's been going amazing. I've been living the life right as a senior. Um, I have a lot of close friends here, and I still maintain my friends outside of my city, and I feel like that's really valuable. The fear of just being alone, I feel like I have overcome. I feel like all my fears that I have right now are like mature in a sense that I don't really fear like monsters like I used to. I don't really fear like demons, and I don't really get nightmares like that anymore. But right, the greatest fear that I have is the fear of being left behind. Because I feel like as like a teenager, it's like we're the pinnacle point where it's just sink or float. Whereas you gotta go to college, you gotta get a job, you gotta get a car. And I feel like it's like a race to adulthood, and I just kind of fear sometimes that I'm being left behind by my peers, and that I need to like push myself to just like stay afloat. As seniors, we're really just kind of like the borderline of this adulthood, and especially now as like Gen Zs, I feel like we're kind of like more prone to dangers, kind of like more prone to up, right? Maybe introduction of like social media where everything exposed, everything's like out there, like all your social life, your cliques, and that makes you more vulnerable. On top of that, like we just had a pandemic where honestly we're like a year behind. Right now is the most fearful I am of not progressing, because it's kind of like it's the turning point right now. So I'm very like positive, and I'm very like affirmative that I will, overcome it like within the next 1 year. But again, it's just kind of like the turning point. It's either you overcome it or you don't, right? It's either you stay in your mom's place, right? You stay in your parents' place for like the next 10 years of your life, or you just step out in the real world, right?
Fear. It has no moral implications. It is not good, nor is it evil. It simply is. It's the feeling in your chest or stomach when you go off to the edge of a cliff and look down. Or what stops you from jumping into shark-infested waters. But fear doesn't always work in our best interests. Sometimes it prevents us from becoming the people we want to be. There are many experiences that are locked behind the doors of fear, and they will never be smelt, sensed, sought after, or seen until we overcome those fears. Sometimes the safest option isn't always our best. What is fear? What is it? Fear is a describer, a part of a definition of us. Much like how a personality is not defined by a singular personality trait, fear is a part of our definition of us. It defines us, but not all of us. It is a part. Imagine this. Someone is writing a book about you. A biography. Now, when they write this book, it will begin with your birth and end in your inevitable death. Let the back of the book describe who you become when you die, who you are when you die. And the pages? Your history, your experiences, your feelings, everything in the past, including fears. Now, think about this. Will you let a fear be a part of what you are when you die? Be a part of the back of your book? Or will it be one of the many things, one of the many words in your pages? One of the many things you have overcome. Thank you for watching. And as always, good night.